Okay. Okay, so question is, I have to move, where should I move to? Okay. Okay, so of course we have to come back to the first step. Okay, you understand. Let's just have a little discussion at the start here before we address the question, which we will do, we promise. First of all, let's just have a little discussion on this idea of free will, because it's very important. You see, when people ask spirit or ask a medium, ask a channeler, whatever, a specific question like, where should I move to? You see, what you are doing is giving up the very reason that you came to Earth to be in the first place. Now, don't take this the wrong way, because we're going to address it in a way that will help everybody make decisions for themselves, hopefully a little easier. But first, what we want to talk about is the why it's so necessary that you can make these decisions for yourself. You see, in a way, by asking me, asking Spirit, what should I do? You are eliminating the very reason for coming down to Earth at this time to explore and experience life. So it's not that we don't want to help with the personal, it's not that we don't want to get specific and help, but we want you to do it for yourselves in a way that allows you to feel purposeful and feel powerful and feel like you are, which you should always be, the owner of your existence, you see. So when you ask Spirit a specific question, what do I need to do now with this? Or where should I go to move? Where, you see, actually what you are doing is giving up the purpose for your being. So it's not to say we're not going to help, we will. But it is actually quite an important concept to grasp that you yourself are the best tool that you have for deciding and determining your existence. And the way that you can do this is a step process. So here we go. Step 1. Understand what the issue is specifically. Let's not get general. Let's get specific. When you're trying to make a conscious decision, you need to have specifics. Yes, you need to say, okay, what is the actual question I'm trying to answer? Okay, so for this question, the question is, I need to move. Where should I move to? Okay, it's a good question, because you see in life, you have these options. People feel that they are stuck and they feel that they can't move too far away, but you have to understand that actually pretty much taking away the boundaries and borders, as we discussed in a previous question, that mankind has put on itself, you're actually pretty free to go anywhere you choose. So it's a good question. If I know I have to move, where should I move to? Well, of course I could move next door, I could move down the road, I could move down the next village, or I could move to the next country, or I could move a million miles away. So let's start by defining the question. Then you have the next thing. Okay, if I'm not immediately certain of my step, of what it is I'm going to do, why? That's the next why. Why am I not so certain what I need to do? What is influencing me that makes me feel like there is no clear decision on this? What is it that is drawing my attention one way and another? Or what is it that quite often for human beings am I worrying about that is allowing me to be pulled in both directions or several directions? Because there is quite often for human beings, there's a worry that we are covering up with this idea of I don't know what to do. Okay, so if you don't have clarity over your question that you have identified, the next step is to say why. Why don't I have clarity over it? What is influencing me in feeling like I don't have clarity here? Okay, once you've identified that, the next step is to say, okay, what do I need to address what do I need to do? What do I need to do to reduce the amount of indecisiveness surrounding this question with the issues I've just uncovered that are saying to me that there is no clarity here? So if it is a feeling of, well, I feel loyal to my family and I should not go too far away. Or I feel uncertain of the work prospects that I don't know where I'm going to will have. Or I feel this or I feel that. All of these worries or concerns, all these things that I am saying I don't know the why I want to do something with clarity, then sit and say to yourself, okay, what can I do to at least reduce, if not eliminate, these issues that I have drawn to the surface in me that are really clouding the issue of the clarity of what it is that I need to do in this instance where I want to be. Okay, so once we have addressed those issues, we should have reduced the lack of clarity that we have. And what you should feel is that there is a pull, a certain urge that is starting to come through, a certain clearer pull, navigating you in a certain direction. Most often, if you can address the issues that are obscuring the what do I do now, then a clearer answer will come through. You start to feel a pull, you start to feel a yes, you start to feel that I'm pretty sure that I think I need to be here. Okay. So then what we would say is you've done those 2 steps. The third step is to say, right, the if, because you human beings always like to do if, but you have to do it, but you have to do it with clarity and consciousness because that's what you are. If you do what you are contemplating doing, what is it that you will need to take care of, or what issues may be coming forth that will create a dissatisfaction for you? All the things that you can that could be construed as perhaps, let's say, negative. And then perhaps a list that says, but if I do this and all the positives come through and all these things occur, well, then what will I feel? Feel. Here we go. And once you have opened up that if word and run it through its course, sit with the answers you have come up with yourself and settle into your emotional response to those feelings. You see, you are creating your experience. You are creators of your own experience. And as you sit in your feeling energy and as you sit in your vibrating energy, you see you will be determining what if occurs. So if all you focus on are the negatives that could happen and what if happened, how bad it would be, and if you have got a list there that is overwhelming to you and you can't see a way through that, you can't eliminate or you can't reduce or you can't seek to dispel the negative ifs, then what we would say is perhaps that's not the right road for you at this time. But if you can sit with the positive ifs and what you feel is the overwhelming positive ifs, that if you do this, life opens up. If you do this, new experiences come to you. If you do this, XXX. Well, then what we would say is you probably should do this at this time because what you are manifesting because of your vibrational creation is that you are going to have the positive if. It's all up for grabs when you are contemplating change and you are contemplating deciding new things. It's all up for grabs. It's down to you and what you create of it. So, of course, there are places on this planet that will resonate with you instinctively. Let's make sure that at least the places you are contemplating moving to resonate with you, have vibrational harmony with you. We wouldn't recommend that you deliberately seek to put yourself in a situation which has no beckoning, no calling, no vibrational reaction saying, come to me, if you have the choice, that is. But presuming that the choices that are on the table are all ones that you have vibrational harmony with, then look to the if and work out as you sit in the ifs, which ifs are stronger for you, which ifs resonate stronger for you. Where is the pull? If it's a yes that says, I'm going, I can feel it, we would say go. if you're sitting there in the negatives of it's not going to work out if this happens, and I can't handle it if this happens, and I'm not sure what to do if this and that's all you can think about, well, then we would probably say, at least at this specific moment in time, unless you can change that feeling that you have, perhaps hold off a little bit on that particular choice. But if you sit in your feelings, and despite all that's going on in your mind, your heart is saying, I think I need to be here. You can eliminate the ifs, and you can eliminate the questions, and you can eliminate the what ifs. Go with the heart, because the heart will be calling. The heart will be pulling. The heart is saying, I know that this is opening me up. I know that this will be. Even if my brain can't see it right now, my heart knows. The heart knows. The heart knows. So when you have choices and when you have decisions that you have to make in your life, which you do all the time, and choices and decisions are free will, which is why you're here. So let's embrace them. Let's not fear them. You see, every new choice that comes your way, where do I live? Well, it's a magnificent opportunity to express the fullness of that which you are, light here on earth. You see, if you get to create anew, if you get to discover anew, if you get to go somewhere and be new, you see, you get to create something wonderful, something special, a unique experience in that world, which is what you're here for. If you never have these choices to make, never had these decisions to embrace, then you sit in a very locked-in world, in a very static situation that can't be a representation of the freedom and the fullness of that which you are, which is just pure love and light. So you have to get out there, make these choices for yourself, make these decisions, and explore the world that you're in, explore your world that you're in. So, okay, here's the question. I know I have to move soon. Where do I move? Well, presumably then you can start, this person is asking, because they already have a feeling, an inkling in them. Maybe my time in this specific location where I'm living could be coming to an end. Maybe there's something more. It could be very light, maybe. But you see, just that maybe is an indication that you're already resonating at a level that's saying, what if there's something more? Can you see that these questions come up that are, where do I go? Am I moving in the right direction? Am I on the right? The very asking of the question in itself means that you are already picking up the reality for you, which says, I know that my life is less than what it could be. Now, it doesn't mean I have to move halfway around the world. It doesn't mean I have to up sticks and go to the next village. I may well end up moving next door. But what it's saying to me is, let's explore this feeling that my reality is not at this moment in time as full as it could be, because that's what I'm seeking now. There's an inkling in me, an inching in me, it's tiny inclination that's saying, what if there's more? And you human beings have got to accept that you are here to be more, to feel more, to want more. And it's only the cutting that off that stops you from being all that you can ever be in the life that you have come to live. So never run away from those inklings, those ideas that maybe I should go further away. Because the idea in you is such that, perhaps there's a little bit more for me to explore. Now, it doesn't mean that you do have to go away, your choice. But it probably means that in some way, your life needs to be moved on into a feeling of more in some way. And that doesn't always have to be coincidental with the move. You see, the move can be an instigation for you to recognize it might be your work, it might be your relationship, it might be your health, but it might be something that the move is offering you a way of saying, I want more. And the move becomes a focal point for the more, because that's what's on the table. Actually, it might not be anything to do with the move. It might be something to do with something a lot more, let's use the phrase for phrase's sake, closer to home. It might be something inside of you. It might be a lacking in your relationships, or it might be a lacking in your health, or it might be a lacking in your work that's not quite where it wants to be, for more, for that more. And in that space and in that place, let's embrace that and say, okay, my body's actually saying it's ready for more. My heart is saying, let's go more. It doesn't have to be huge, doesn't have to be wide sweeping changes. It just means acknowledge the feeling of more. When you acknowledge it, you can look for where that more exists. If you don't acknowledge it, that's when you start feeling stuck. That's when you start feeling disgruntled and you start feeling fed up and you start feeling somewhat angry and aggressive and put out in your life, because suddenly you wake up to a feeling of not in a life that's as rich as you would like it to be. And if you can catch it by these very words that we're using when you're exploring your life, maybe I could move further away. Maybe I should move further away. Whether you do or you don't is down to your free choice. But the very notion that you are entertaining those ideas means that somewhere in your life there's a calling for more. Address that. Rejoice in that. Sit still and look at where that more may be. It may be for a more in the location stakes, but it may also be more in terms of work, or more in terms of relationships, or more in terms of health, or any other ways that we want to feel more for ourselves. So if we explore those, we will uncover those. In the uncovering of what more the more could be, we may find it clearer and clearer and easier to make the decision about the move. Oh, actually, it's my relationship that needs to be worked on. Oh, actually, it's my work that needs to be more. Okay, I'm going to look there first. Let's look there first. Deal with how I can experience more there. Oh, suddenly moving further away doesn't seem so appealing. I actually love it where I am, and I actually just want to go around the corner because I've got good friends and I've got good close relationships, and I'm feeling positive again now. Or the opposite. Or the opposite. Now that I've taken care of the work and I know it's the work that I need to be more in, you know what? My work could be more if I move further away, because I get more inspiration and more and more and more. It's the individual reaction to their own words. You're the best information. You have it about yourself. No one else, not even spirit. You have it because you're here living it. And you have to walk your path every day. No offense to anybody, but I do not. I help and I try to help, and hoping that this message helps, because it's not just today whether I move, but next year. Here we go again, do I move? Or next year after that, or next year after that. All these questions that come up for us about life, about the decisions that we make in life. Am I on the right path? Do I need to move? Well, they're already telling you that your heart is asking for more. Your soul is trying to call you forward to be more light and more love in the life that you are living. You have to reach for that. Doesn't have to mean that life is turned on its head. Most of the time it isn't. Most of the time it's just an accepting. I'm after more. Once you identify that call for more, you're not scared of it. You look at what it's actually trying to teach you. It might be more friendships. Oh, I'm really feeling lonely. I need more friendships. I can bring that into my life where my work isn't fulfilling me as it should. What do I need to do with my work? I need to move in this direction. Okay, suddenly life feels good again. Okay, should this person that's asked this question move further away? Well, here's what we would say. Here's what we would say. The fact that you're asking the question means that there is something in your life right now calling for more. Sit and address what's calling for more. We're not going to tell you now, because this person can very easily do it for themselves. You need to be with yourself and address the situation of which area of your life needs to be more. That's the first step for this person. Once you've recognized that you're already asking for more, and you've located the specific area that you're asking for more in, deal with that in that area. Okay, then leave. Now, the moving, you know you have to move, okay, so go back to what we said. Get very specific about the question you're trying to determine an answer for. Okay, I need to move is not a question. Where do I want to move to is a better question. I need to move is a pressure and it's a statement of fact. It's not a question that you can respond in an open heart way to. Where might I want to move to? Okay, now we're getting into open heart. Okay. Sit with the reasons why you may or may not want to feel the clarity, as we said, step 2. So if you had clarity, you would not need to ask the question. So there's something getting in the way of that clarity. It may well link into the concept of more. But if you've already answered that question of more, now you should be free to explore what else is getting in the way of experiencing clarity over the direction you're going in. Sit with the options that come up as to what is getting in the way, what fears, perhaps what worries, what concerns are blocking the clarity that you could have. Address those, and you should feel a stronger pull to a specific space, either to stay, to go a little, to go a lot. That pull should start coming. Sit with the if, third step. If I do this, if I do this, positive, See where your heart is feeling. See where you can get yourself to go. Can you go positive? Is it possible to go with the pull that you are experiencing to a specific place and feel with the ifs that everything can be beautiful and positive and work it out? Can you easily slot into that space at this time? If it's a yes, you have your choice. If you can sit and you're constantly going over the negatives and you're constantly vibrating at the negatives of what could happen in this situation, sit for longer. Don't move. Just don't move. It's not worth it. Because the vibrations you're putting out will determine the experience you get back, and it's just not going to be worth the move for you. Get to a place where you can feel the positives. And if that is at this time staying still, well, at least you know why. At least you know why. At this moment in time, the pull to the further afield is overwhelming. It's too much. Okay, but it doesn't mean it's going to be overwhelming in 6 months' time, or it doesn't mean it's going to be too overwhelming in a year's time. And there's always life, and there's always options, and there's always chances further down the line. But if I can get into the space of positive yes and positive if I do this, this will work out. Your heart is open, your mind is made up, and off you go. With love.